Rather than Manchester United have pretty much got Mazraoui over the line. I think you're probably going to be looking at the final details emerging over the next 24, 48 hours, but it looks like that's another sign that United have managed to get over the line, and things are looking quite positive. Now, the Moroccan wants us, we want him. I think we're probably just finalising the details of moving Wan-Bissaka on, and then I expect this deal to go ahead and happen. Now, I actually think that this is a player that provides numerous solutions and benefits to the squad, and I thought I would look into those because, you know, I've done a video that looked at Wan-Bissaka and Mazraoui. I want to just focus a little bit more on Mazraoui directly. So in terms of the qualities, he is a multifunctional fullback, and he does have so many qualities that you would associate with what people call, you know, a modern day fullback. He is versatile, he is quick, he is intelligent, but the most vital thing is how dynamic he is. Now, it's a player that has worked his way into a real crucial role with the Bayern Munich system, and he doesn't necessarily start consistently for Bayern Munich, but he seems to somehow have used this to his advantage. And that versatility has allowed him to sort of adapt to multiple roles on the pitch. And in an era where you've got sort of, not quite to the level of Arteta talking about 47 different formations during a match, it's obviously not, you know, you can have, your players can make 47 different patterns on the pitch during the course of 90 minutes. Of course they can. But you're not calling that formations because you've not set them out to do that. You've given them tactical parameters that they can operate within, and that's it. There isn't 47 formations. But anyway, before we get sidetracked, there's multiple roles, multiple ways to fill in, and you know, on the big broad stroke sort of stuff, he's filled in at left back, he's filled in at right back, he's even tucked in as a third sort of centre half, and Bayern fans have become quite accustomed to, and arguably even unappreciative of, the overlapping and underlapping runs that he would bring, which I think United are trying to work on at the moment. Now, obviously, we looked at the Wan-Bissaka stuff, and it's well documented that United don't have the money to just go bananas and bring in whoever we want. I do think it's nailed on that a move for Mazraoui does depend on Wan-Bissaka leaving, and if things do work out in favour, which they seem like they are doing at the moment, then I think it's going to be a one-in, one-out sort of a deal in terms of that transfer. Now, the idea behind this transfer is that we are buying a fullback that is going to be more in line with the vision of the current manager and the squad that he is trying to build. And Wan-Bissaka, for how good he has been and how much he has developed, doesn't quite fit that bill. There are obvious qualities, but there are also obvious defects in with him as well. And obviously, Wan-Bissaka is more of a lockdown, the winger style of defender. He's a bit of a specialist when it comes to 1v1 dribbling, defending it. He's the kind of player that would excel in a team that, can you imagine him at like an Atletico Madrid? Like, in a team that's happy to let you have the ball, he's going to be an absolute nightmare to come up against. In a different era, he might have been a great defender, but fullbacks are asked to do a lot more, and it's kind of just gotten away from him just a little bit. Now, Mazraoui is much more in the mould of a Diogo Dalot. Not identical, but definitely more in that mould. And it's important to have someone that can provide a little bit of competition, I think, while matching up to the manager's vision. And we spoke about this the other day. I don't necessarily think we're in an era of plan A and plan B, certainly not with how we build up. I think that's very important. You can have a plan A and a plan B with like a Højlund and a Xerxes up front. That's not changing your principles too much. But if you have to have someone in the back line that's perhaps not quite capable of following out the sort of build-up instructions that you're looking to get onto, then that's a little bit of a different story. Now, in Mazraoui, we're signing a player that can slot in on the right, which is where I would expect him to play the most, but potentially even on the left. He's done so well for Bayern Munich, and we have got injury issues on the left-hand side. So there might be a requirement for him to fill in there as well. We don't have a big squad, despite the fact that it feels like Ineos are doing a lot of sort of squad signings rather than straight up 11 signings. And those adaptable traits that he's got could really help him getting into the starting 11. He's going to join us to fill a bit of an essential role, I believe, within the squad. And that would be our next best option after both Dalot and Luke Shaw. It's a role that's got importance that, you know, maybe we can't understate at the moment, because when Luke Shaw plays, Marcus Rashford plays well. When Luke Shaw doesn't play, Marcus Rashford typically has a bit of an underperforming season. Now, there's obviously been his own injuries that have been linked within that as well, but quite typically you look at how well and how often Luke Shaw plays, and there's a hell of a correlation between how well and how often Marcus Rashford plays as well. We have more than enough quality to start with him in the squad, and bringing him in just means he's worth every penny. We're fighting on a lot of fronts, as always. It's helpful to have options, I think. I think he'd probably start in the Cups, feature consistently in Europe, and if there was an injury, he would be given the opportunity to start in the league. But I think he's probably the second choice for two positions. Dalot played a lot of games, I think, last year. Giving him the opportunity to rest might keep the best out of him. 50 appearances he doesn't need to be making every single season. And we were very, very lucky to have Dalot fit for the entire campaign, because there weren't many players that were fit for the entire campaign. Mazraoui comes in, puts a little bit of a pressure on him to perform, but also takes a little bit of weight off his shoulders in terms of that needing to perform 50 times, plus whatever he's going to play for Portugal. And the same can likely be said for Luke Shaw as well. Now, he's a good signing. I do have my worries on his injuries, but if he's not required to play quite as often, I think it kind of takes the pressure off all three of those first choice centre-halves. So I'm quite behind this. I think it's a pretty good option. And I assume it's probably going to get finished up in the next day or two. But please let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.